Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing the money in your bank account means nothing. Not because it disappeared, not because anyone stole it, but because the idea of money itself, the thing we trust to measure value, time, labor, and life, simply stopped being real. This isn't science fiction. It has happened before, more than once, and each time, the result has been the same. Societies fractured, empires fell, and the world changed forever. So today, we ask a question most people never think to ask. What is money when it's no longer backed by anything real? And what happens to a civilization that forgets the answer? For most of human history, money was not paper, code, or bank entries. It was stuff with intrinsic value: gold, silver, grain, livestock, land. Something you could touch, something the world agreed was real. But everything changed in the 20th century. By the early 1900s, global powers had begun printing paper notes, promises that these notes could be exchanged for real gold stored in vaults. This worked, at first, because the promise was believed. And belief, as we'll see, is the true foundation of any monetary system. But belief is fragile. And on August 15th, 1971, that belief was shattered. President Richard Nixon suspended the convertibility of the US dollar into gold, ending the gold standard and effectively cutting the world's currency loose from anything physical. From that day forward, money became an idea, a symbol, a story we agree to believe. And once money becomes a story, someone must control the narrative. To understand why money stopped being real, we need to understand an uncomfortable truth. Real money, gold-backed money, limits power. Governments couldn't print unlimited amounts of gold. Empires couldn't fund endless wars. Banks couldn't inflate wealth into existence with loans that never should have been made. So the gold standard was seen as a prison, a cage around the ambitions of nations. By removing gold backing, governments could print money at will. Banks could create money from debt. Wealth could expand. Without production, growth could continue, even if reality didn't match. This new system, called fiat currency, meant money had value only because the government said it did. At first, it felt like a miracle, a loophole in economic gravity. But there's a catch. If money can be created endlessly, its value can disappear just as easily. Let's look at a pattern that has repeated again and again throughout history. A civilization ties money to something real. The economy grows. Leaders want more growth. They begin printing money faster than real value is created. Inflation begins. People lose trust. The monetary system collapses. The society that depended on it collapses too. This exact pattern destroyed Weimar Germany in the 1920s, where wheelbarrows carried cash worth less than the wheelbarrow. Yugoslavia in 1994, where inflation hit 5 quadrillion percent. Zimbabwe in 2008, where a $100 trillion bill couldn't buy bread. And today, this same pattern is unfolding. Slowly, quietly, on a global scale. Right now, most of the money in the world doesn't exist physically. It exists as numbers on screens, created by banks when they issue loans. Over 90% of global currency is digital debt, not printed cash. And the global economy requires constant growth to survive, not because of innovation, but because of how the monetary system is structured. If growth stops, loans cannot be repaid. Banks collapse. Currencies fail. So governments around the world do the only thing they can do. They print. Again, and again, and again. In 2020 alone, the United States printed over 20% of all dollars ever created in a matter of months. And quietly, almost imperceptibly, the value of money began to slip. Prices rose. Savings weakened. Homes became unattainable. Wages stagnated. People began to feel poorer, even when the numbers in their bank accounts stayed the same, because the number didn't change. The meaning of the number changed. A currency collapse isn't just an economic event. It is a psychological one. When people realize money is no longer real, they stop trusting institutions. They stop investing in the future. They stop believing the system will reward effort. They begin acting in self-preservation. Social trust fractures. Communities dissolve. Violence rises. And the idea of a shared society begins to crumble. Money is not just a medium of exchange. It is the glue that holds civilization together. When the glue dissolves, the structure collapses. Governments are not unaware of this problem. Right now, around the world, nations are preparing a new solution: central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Unlike cash, CBDCs are fully digital, fully traceable, fully programmable, and controlled from a central authority. This is not just new money. It is a new kind of money, one that could restore trust or eliminate freedom. Because programmable money means what you buy can be restricted, where you spend can be controlled, your account can be frozen, compliance can be automated. In the name of stability, control becomes absolute. And so we face a choice: stability without freedom, or freedom without stability. History shows civilizations rarely choose well. So what happens when money stops being real? Not overnight collapse, but slow erosion, a quiet decay of trust, a loosening of the threads that hold society together, a drift toward systems of increasing control. But we are not powerless. 3 lessons to remember. Money is trust. When trust breaks, the system breaks. Strengthen trust where you can. In community, in shared values, in real relationships. Wealth is not numbers. True wealth is energy, knowledge, land, skills, relationships, and resilience. The future goes to those who prepare early, those who adapt their mindset before the shift, shape the outcome after it. The warning is simple. If money is only real because we believe in it, then the most valuable thing in the world is belief itself. And belief is shifting. If this video gave you something to think about, if it opened a question or stirred a quiet concern, you're not alone. Share it. Leave a comment. Join the discussion. This is the story of our time, and we are the ones living through the turning of the page. Subscribe if you want to understand the world, not as we are told it is, but as it truly is. The next chapter is coming.